Hello, I'm Dashiani Navanayagam. Welcome to Outlook, the programme that gathers the most extraordinary personal stories from around the world all in one place, just for you. Today, the aftermath of a suicide bombing and the inspiring story of a young Iraqi man who survived some devastating injuries. It very nearly claimed his life, but now the experience has taken him across the world to Austin, Texas, where he's living, studying for a PhD, and working as a mentor for students. His name is Qusay Hussein. His story starts in the small village of Abujna in northern Iraq, where he grew up with his family and 6 siblings. Later, they moved to Hatra, an ancient city 110 kilometres southwest of Mosul. As a teenager, his time was split between the usual things like school and playing football. But even then, Qusay knew he wanted to help others.
I want to be a plastic surgeon. The reason why, because was one kid in the village, he have like a birthmark, and always the kids make fun of him. You know, we was kids, we don't understand the life. We don't understand how hard if you told somebody bad things. But this kid broke my heart, and I said, I will be plastic surgeon. I could help these kids and others who are having that issue. And I started dreaming to be a plastic surgeon.
But when war began in 2003, Qusay was still at school. Day-to-day life in his city changed dramatically, and those ambitions and hopes for the future was suddenly on hold.
We was cool, but when it started the war, everything stopped. No teacher, everyone don't go to school anymore. Even people don't go to outside, staying home. And I know some family created a tunnel under the ground just to be safe. If something, they hear airplane, they go inside it just in case from the rocket. To be honest, we live day by day, no future, to be honest, because you never know. You live in home, you don't know if you are returned or not, because maybe you will get killed, or you stop on a bomb on the street and then it will blow you. So you don't know, you live in day by day. You don't have plan, to be honest. You don't have goals.
By early 2006, the war was still continuing. Now, sectarian violence had also broken out across Iraq. The country was in civil war, and suicide bombings targeting civilian populations were occurring almost every day. On the 3rd of August that year, Qusay, who was 17 now, was having as normal a day as possible. That evening, he headed to the local sports ground to play a game of volleyball with his brothers and friends. I should say that what Qusay's about to tell us next does have descriptions you might find upsetting.
It was hot in August. We were standing and playing, laughing. Some people sit on their shoes, they don't have seat. People sitting on the car. People just standing watching. Suddenly, we didn't see just car. He drove to the stadium. It's not very fancy stadium. It's just sand. And he drove from behind me. He almost killed me by driving, because his truck sink to the sand, and he pushed on the gas very hard, and then the truck moved very fast to inside the stadium.
And then what did you see? Because you got to look into his face, right?
Yes, I looked his face. He's around 50 years old. He have short white beard, and he have 2 rings in his left hand, and he have necklace in his left hand, and then he wearing a brownish coffee t-shirt, and he looked left and right, and he smiled, and he pushed his hand on the horn, but you just hear the sound woo, and then fire coming, ball of fire, looks like volcano. I'm me, probably 1.5 meters away from the truck, and then woof. When you say woof, I float to the air like bird. No control on my body at all. Or even car, the audience car, start flowing up to the sky. It looks like basically, if you can imagine, very action movie.
But it wasn't an action movie. That that was happening to you.
The real action. So I flew to the air and I could see, like as soon as I'm flying, I could see. So when I come to the ground, my face came before my body. So I touched my face and then I felt the blood start going down from my nose. So I said, my nose broke, it's okay, let me run. As soon as I stand up to run, and a shrapnel hit me in my head, in my skull. And I started coming to the ground like slowly, and then I just lay down. I don't have any more energy. And that time I lost my vision, like I could not see anything anymore. How severe my injured, I don't know. Because I didn't feel any pain at all. I just like felt like it looks like you gave me anesthesia.
You didn't know then that you were blind?
No, I thought like because of blood or something, the dirt entered my eyes, and I tried to open them like strong, like with my nerves, like sometimes like you try to keep your eyelid open, but nothing. I could not see nothing.
Did you know how severe the explosion was at that point and how many people had been injured?
No, I didn't know. He killed 16 people and 56 injured, and I am one of them, and I have 2 brothers injured as well.
Did your family know what had happened? You said you were there with your 2 brothers.
Our house not that far away from the stadium. So my dad came to the stadium and shouting, and then he started looking for me and my other brothers, and then I heard his voice, and I said, Dad, please help me, I will die. And he said, oh my God, this is Qusay. So he called people, and they put me in a truck, in a bag of the truck, and took me to the clinic. The doctor looked on me, and he told my dad, go ahead, take care of your other kids. Qusay, half an hour, he will die. And they carried me, and then they put me where the death people in the room. And then they started bringing death people on top of me, beside me, around me, and then they left me there. But I could not talk. I hear sound, I hear people crying, I hear people, but at the same time, I need to call them, but I don't have the energy to speak. After I get quiet, probably hours, I sleep and woke up. And then one moment, my dad, he started flipping the death people and look for me, because the traditional in Iraq to take the body to the house, wash it, and take it to the cemetery.
So he'd come back to take your dead body, thinking you died at that point.
Correct. He think like I'm already gone, and I don't know how I could gathered the energy, and I said, Dad, I'm still alive. Please help me. And he started slapping his face. He said, oh my God, my son is still alive. So he put me in his car, and he called one of the neighbor. He said, I could not drive. Can somebody drive us, please? And then one of the neighbors started driving. And because Hatra also 60 or 80 kilometer from the center of Mosul. The big hospital is in Mosul. So on our way, we met American soldiers. When they saw my injury, they asked my dad what happened, and he told them this explosion happened 6 hours ago. And then they put me in a sleep bag, and I thought they put me in a coffin to take me to the cemetery.
Oh.
Yeah, so they put me in a sleep bag, and then they put me in a helicopter, and then they took me to their base for treatment, and I went in a coma for 12 days.
Gosh. And what happened when you came out of your coma?
So after the coma, I was in a bed, and then I woke up. I'm naked. The only thing I have just short on me. And then I felt they tied my arms to the bed. And then I said to myself, let me wake up slowly and see where I am.
So you didn't know you were still at that US base?
No, I don't know. So I start shouting for water, and then I hear the shoes coming toward my bed. I just hear the shoes. And I started crying and say, I need water, please. And then the interpreter said, the doctor told her, no, we could not give him any water because his stomach filled up with blood. If we give him any water, he will die right away. So the only thing they did, they wet cotton and then ran it through my lip. And she asked me, what's your name? Looks like the doctor asked her, told him, what's your name? So she asked me, what's your name? I told her, my name is Qusay. And she said, thank God. And I said, like, we thank God for everything, but why when you heard my name, you thanked God? Why is that? She said, because the shrapnel, one hair, you will lose your brain.
Gosh.
Yes. And then they tried to reach my family, but that time my family already did the funeral. Already they got the death certificate from the Iraqi government, because they don't know anything about me or any news, and they looked for all the hospital in the Mosul. So American soldier took me to their base in other city. It's called Salah ad-Din. It's like the big hospital for big accident trauma.
So your family had held a funeral for you thinking you died, and they'd got a death certificate from the government, but they had no idea you were still alive.
Correct, yes. This is what they done, and because all the doctors or the people say, oh, he's died, and American soldiers throw them in the mountains or they bury him. So better you just get the certificate and then you make a funeral. And he told me that, like, he started crying a lot, every day, he lost one son.
And I can understand then the shock of someone telling him after he's done a funeral that actually his son is alive.
Yes. Yeah, you put your mind like set for something and then suddenly say, oh no, what he did is not right because your son is still alive. So they start reach to my family, and my family didn't believe them I'm still alive. And they connect with my dad twice, and he say, no, my son is already gone. And my dad said, if he is my son, can they told me what have in his right arm? And they come toward my bed and they looked and they say, we see his name in tattoo. And he said, yes, this is my son.
So how did you return home to your family?
So my brother Ali and my dad and my uncle came to the base. It's like 5 hours drive. And my brother Ali came to the tent. That time the hospital's tent. So he stood next to my bed, but he didn't recognize me because the shrapnel destroyed completely my face. And then he looked on me, he said, oh my God, I wish this man, he will die because his life will be very difficult afterward. And then he walked, but I didn't recognize his voice. And then he walked in the end of the tent, and he asked the interpreter, do you know where Qusay Hussein? And I heard his voice and I said, Ali, I'm your brother. And he passed out, and the nurse started giving him water in his face, and he woke up and he hugged me and started crying.
And at this point, you're aware that your family are around you, but were you aware of how severe your injuries were?
No, I just wanted them to open my eyes. And then the doctor told me, no, we could not open it for you right now because you have some infection. But after you get better, we will open it for you, and then you will be able back.
So for the first few years after the explosion, did you think that your sight might be able to be restored?
Correct. Yes, this is what my hope. And then always my family say, yeah, you will get your sight back.
And did anyone talk to you about what would happen next after you returned home?
Yeah, definitely. They did. So when my dad saw me first time, he prayed. He said, God, why did you left him like that for me? You should take him because, like, how I can do for him? Like, no, we don't have medical. We don't have, like, hospitals could help him. So Dr. Ferguson told him through the interpreter, he said, 14 days in bring Qusay back. We need order some of equipment for Qusay to try to build his face back. So when I got home, everyone shocked how severe injured I was. And and people crying.
How long did you then remain at home for?
Well, I got 14 days and went back, and then they did like every Monday I have huge surgery, and then again after 3 months they say his body does not respond anymore for surgery. We need to get him a rest for 3 months, and then we do more surgery. So they called my family again, and then my family come picked me up, and then that time my family could not turn me back to the base anymore because a lot militia started control the street, and I stayed home for 2 years. Have a lot infection, no resources, no anything. Basically, only people who take care of me, my mom and dad.
What were your injuries at that point?
Just my face. My right cheek is completely gone, and my nose and half of my skull.
And after you were sent home, how did you cope?
It was very hard, to be honest. Like, no food. I told her, like, they give me through the syringe, and I could not sleep. I had started having insomnia, no sleep at all.
And this was at home with your family and with your mum and dad?
Yeah, and then like pain, a lot of pain, like 24 hours, almost like every 4 hours I have gotten tablets to stop the pain.
And during this time, your mum and dad were looking after you, and your dad was encouraging you, I think, with stories of being hopeful.
He is my hero. He is my therapy. He is everything you could imagine. He helped me a lot. He told me stories, like about Arabic culture, how people like resistant. Because my dad, he is the president of our tribe. He told me like how many problems he solved and how he solved the issue. Like people killed other member of other tribe, and how he approached it and how he able to solve it. All of that he shared with me.
How are you adjusting to your loss of vision at that point?
It was hard, but when you look on the situation, if you don't able to do anything about it, rather you accept it and instead blaming yourself. So this is what I think is a blessing from God. He gave me that, I could say, knowledge or understanding to do that. Otherwise, I know some people who are losing their vision through disease or through accident or anything. They still like blame them themselves. By like saying, "Oh, I should not go there. Oh, I should not take this medicine." That's it. This is the situation. It could not change it. So why keep and go back to the negative point? Just leave it and move on.
And during this time, what future did you see for yourself?
No future, but something inside me. It told me that I will do something. I will be something. I don't know where it come from. But I never forgot, I never lost the hope.
It was 3 years after the explosion that you heard a TV advert. What was it for?
It was Eid. It's called Eid holiday. And I was sitting on myself and then watching one of Iraqi channel that time. And it's saying that if you are injured or you have family injured, you should call this phone number to help you like get the treatment. And I said, yeah, this is for me. So I ran to one of my brothers. I said, please, can you come write this phone number for me? And he said, no, man, leave it. I said, no, please, just come. So he came and then he dialed on my phone and I spoke to a lady. And she was in Jordan that time. And I told her my case, what's going on. And she told me, we are Doctor Without Borders and we have representative in Mosul hospital. And she gave me the name of the hospital. And I say, can you please send me his phone number or how I can reach to him? She said, yeah, I can text you his phone number right now. And I call and I said, hello, he's Dr. Muhammad. He said, yeah. I said, doctor, like I got your phone number from the organization and said like you are the representative here. He said, yes. What's going on? And I told him like what happened to me. He said, can you come tomorrow? I said, yes. He said, okay, come to the hospital, bring your reports, and we will take you, we'll get some pictures and x-ray, and we'll see if they approve you to go to Jordan.
What What were you hoping that they could do for you?
To be honest, I just wanted to stop the infection, because they built a new plate on my right cheek, and then the skin started tearing, and then you could see the plate start showing. So that was my only goal, like to take the plate out, and after that, just like live my life, accept my life how it is.
So you'd accepted what had happened to you at that point, and you approached the program for help with treatment, and you were approved. So you ended up leaving Iraq for the first time to go to Jordan with your dad. What happened there?
Yeah, so there, when I went to Jordan, and then they take you to take X-ray, to take blood, all the medical required. And then my dad gave him the report that time. And then after he finished reading the report, before we leave, I said, "Doctor, can you transfer me to ophthalmologist doctor?" And he said, "Qusay, your vision is not reversible." And when he told me that, it hit me hard. And I was hoping to come to the new country to get my vision back, but it didn't happen. I started crying, but I hold it. I didn't cry in front of him or even in front of my dad. When I went back to the hotel, I started crying, and it was hard.
So for 3 years, you'd had no idea it might never ever come back.
Correct, no idea.
So what happened after he told you this?
I told you, it was very hard. I went to the hotel, and I didn't like the life anymore. But I took a shower and I said, "God help me, I'm in a test. I will pass this test or I fail it. But I hope I'm passing it." So after the shower, I went to pray and I cry a lot. And in a moment, I felt something come to my heart. It's called relief. Something changed inside me.
During his time in Jordan, he underwent over 35 surgeries to rebuild his face. As he physically recovered, he met a blind teacher named Hani who took Qusay under his wing and encouraged him to start rebuilding his confidence.
He definitely helped me so much by moving to adapt the new life of blindness. And I started go walk with him, and he showed me how technique of the cane, and start reading the braille. He helped me with the braille. And before I don't leave the hotel or the hospital, always was sticking with my dad. But when I start going with Hani, and I start meeting him in the cafe, and then after that, I built huge network friends, the patient friend in the hospital.
As part of the patient's recovery, the hospital arranged therapeutic activities, including occasional bus trips to sites around the city, such as Petra or the Dead Sea. It was on one of these trips that Qusay started to turn his attention to what he could now do for others.
I was sitting in the bus, exactly the chair behind the driver. And then I see the patient dancing and singing. And I know I studied before that happiness could clear the wings very quickly. So I was sitting there, and the ride was 2 hours. And at the same time, I don't have something to write or to read. And then I saw the patient. I said, I must do something about those people. I must keep that program continue. And before they do it every 3 months or 4 months, they took you one. And then when we got to the Dead Sea, I called a friend of mine, his name Muhammad. He's also injured, but he could walk, but he's injured in his fingers. I said, Muhammad, can you take me to the driver? And he said, sure. So I put my hand in his shoulder, and then I went to the driver. I said, hello. I introduced myself. I said, my name is Qusay. If I will get you the bus completely full on Friday, you will be able to take us wherever we need to go in Jordan. He said, absolutely. And I told him how much will cost. That time he said like $5 each patient. So I say, okay.
So you were looking to get a bus full of patients to go where?
To go to sightseeing, like go to like Petra, Datsy, like other like park. So I got to the hotel. The next day, everyone like who went to trip say, oh, it's good. I wish we have it more. And I stopped in the kitchen. I said, who would like to go next Friday to Petra or Aqaba, or, you know, just tell me wherever you like to go. And people say, are you crazy? How you take us? I say, you want to go or not? They say, yes. I say, if you want to go, give me $5. And then I got the group full of bus, 22 patients. And I went to the psychology doctors there, and I told them, I'm going to take those patients with me, and say, how you do that? I say, just say, please, say yes, I will do it. And they say, sure, go ahead, but be careful. And then I did that, and I called the driver and say, I have 22 people ready to go. And on Friday at 6 o'clock, I told the patient, at 6 o'clock in the morning, everyone in the lobby. And then I start doing that every Friday. People come register in me, like you register with me, and then take them. We saw every beast sightseeing in Jordan with different patients. Like I started taking two buses.
Oh, wow. So you went from one bus full of people to two.
Two, yes. So I, because we don't have enough. So the same driver, he introduced me to another driver, and I started taking two buses.
So it's obviously popular.
Yes, in Jordan, everyone know me, Qusay Iraqi. And I have two cell phones. They never stop. They never stop ringing.
So this was all happening in Jordan, but you now live in Texas, in Austin, in Texas. How did that opportunity to go to the US arise?
Oh my God, this is So I want to come to the country. I could show my skills. I could help people, and I know myself. If I go to return to Iraq, I will not do anything, and then those skills will bury, and people does not benefit from them. And then I talked to some people, and then one journalist was that time she ended interview with a patient, and I told her like I need to go to the US or any country, and she said, yeah, apply as a refugee. And then I did that, and they proved to come. So I got to the committee. This after like submitting all the paper or the interview. So I got to the committee to decide which country I should to go. And they gave me multiple countries like England, Germany, French, Australia. And I told them, I love all those countries you mentioned, but I don't have any idea what is there. I need you to decide for me. And then all the committee was women. And then one of the ladies, she said, I'm thinking about send him to America.
Oh, so they chose it for you?
Yeah, I didn't choose it. So my destiny brought me here.
And what did your family make of you wanting to travel there?
I got the ticket and I come to the hotel and my dad, he started crying. He said, how you are going there? You are blind. You don't know the language. You don't have any relatives or family. What do you do there? Like how you live? And he started crying. I said, Dad, don't cry. I will turn back the ticket. And I did. I called the immigration there, and the lady, she's helped me. She know me very well. I told her like, this is the situation. My dad does not me. Can you please like, and I know what to do, like close the case or keeping it in hold. And she said, well, since that's your situation, and I know you, like your dad, a little bit, like he's very, how I say, like have very attachment to you. He like you a lot. I will keep the case in hold. And let's say like some situation happened, not ready to travel. So they did that, and then I forgot about it. And one day my uncle died in Iraq, and my dad left, and I stayed by myself. And then after my dad left 2 days, I called the immigration again. I called the same lady. I say, I think I'm ready to open my case if it's still there. She say, yes. So she did interview again. And then a few months, I got another interview. And then they told me, you travel in September 18, you go to Austin, Texas. Do you know what it is? I say, Hell, I don't know what it is. I never been there before.
But you did go, and you arrived in 2012. Can you remember what it was like when you turned up?
Oh my God, this was hard. Like, this is a new life. It's like, I don't understand nothing, and I don't know like what you'll be. And I got to the airport and I met one of social worker interpreter, and they put me in a small studio apartment. It was hard. 21 days I stayed in my apartment. I didn't go anywhere.
Gosh. Could you speak English then?
Just, hi, how are you?
And what were you hoping to do when you got to Texas?
To finish my education. This is the big goal was for me, to finish education and to help people, to create organizations. And the reason why I started travel around the world, to help people, to not let people go through what I went through. And I want to help people and finishing my education.
And you say finishing your education. I mean, it's really impressive. You did 2 degrees. You learned English and Spanish, and you've just started a master's. So you've done a whole lot of education now.
Yes, I have 2 bachelors, psychology and social work, and I have minor in disability. Right now, I'm working on my master, and also I'm working with USM, the university help. Hopefully, we create it like bachelor in disability. And actually, I was help like the minor in disability. We created me and my professor and the dean and the school. This is a new. I'm the first student at the School of Social Work getting the minor in disability.
And tell me about the work that you do, because you work a lot as a mentor and you help visually impaired students as well.
Correct. Yes. So I like come in a student, speak to them, and then also the universities. Most of the university invited me to give a speech to keep, tell the student, don't give up, because we came to this world for like not just to eat and drink and then sit. We come to this work to work, to find better places for us. So help the visual impaired student who enter to the university. Even right now, I'm mentor with a student who do not have any disability. I mentor them to help them, like if they come down, how they could pull themselves back and continue to education. And I work with Texas Center of Disability Study, working as volunteer. I'm the co-chair for the committee. And try and create programs helping people who have disability.
What do your family make of the work that you're doing?
What they do? Well, some of them, they, beginning, I will tell you a funny part. The first speech I gave in English in 2013, and I filmed it and I sent it to them. And then I called after 3 minutes after I sent the video, and all my family was crying. And I said, just a second. First of all, you don't understand what I'm saying because I'm speaking English. And then none of you understand English. Why are you crying for? You don't understand the word I'm saying. And then they said, no, because we saw you how we come on the stage and people stand up in a clap for you.
They must be so proud.
Yes. And I wished my dad didn't pass away, but... because I promised him to get the PhD, and I'm still on my work to get my PhD, because it was not easy to convince him to come here.
And you proved them right. I mean, your goal now is to build a school for the blind in Mosul. Why is that important to you?
Very important for me because I want in Mosul, they don't have the basic needs. When you don't have the basic need, you don't like your life anymore. I will give you example. When Corona hit, how many people got depressed? How many people... And then we know you will be temporary. You will be 1 year, 2 year. But imagine if you don't have your basic need for tons of year. How you will be able to stay strong. So the visual impaired people in Mosul, I'm talking about the Iraq, but my city in Mosul, but they don't have the basic need. I will tell you I went there and they don't have the watch, token watch, to tell the time. Right now, with technology, it should be to everyone free and everyone should have them.
I guess you want them to have the same experience you've had now.
Definitely. And then this is my goal, to create a center and then like teach them to build back their confidence and to let them like prove the world we are strong as people with disability. We are capable to do things.
It's been 15 years, I guess, since that day on the volleyball court. How much do you feel that your life has just changed and how much you've learned since that day?
It's a lot. Right now, I reached to the point, if right now you mention to me and say, Qusay, I promise you will get your eyes back, I will tell you thank you. I don't want them.
You don't want the return of your sight?
I don't want my sight back. Because I'm happy without them. I'm creative without them. It's just something I lost. And, I have friend, I ran like 4 miles, 5 miles a day with a friend. I go to the gym, I study. They are difficult. I'm not saying like the life is easy. Probably not easy for you. But if we could stop for each point and then we say, I'm not capable. All of us, we will down right now. All of us, we never created anything. There are obstacles, but that should not stop you where you need to reach or where you need to go. Take it, this is from me, from my world. Probably in the future, we will see it. And they say, oh my God, this is Qusay, he was right. Everything negative happened to you, there's something positive inside it.
Do you talk to your family about this and what you've learned since that day? What do they say?
Right now, my family, thank goodness, like everything happened to them or anything they need to decide, they don't do it before they call me. Like, I'm not the oldest son in the family, but even